Well, hello everyone. Thank you very much for joining me today. Yes, this is Jason, the Canadian YouTube creator, and also known as Jason Cosmic RSSP Authority. Now, my precious subscribers, they'll know what RSSP stands for, right, you guys out there? But for newbies to my channel, and I appreciate you coming over, I hope you'll stick with me. It stands for Real Secret Space Program, way up there in space. That's right. And I appreciate all my present subscribers. Really, I value anybody who happens to have a thought and leaves comments. I read them, okay? Again, I really appreciate the support. And for anybody new to my channel, I hope you guys will subscribe. I hope maybe you'll share my videos. And of course, hopefully give me the thumbs up. And everybody find that bell icon, even present subscribers, and hit it so you can be alerted to future videos. Because we're going to do some epic ones, God willing, okay? Because I'm trying to help us to provide the much needed sufficient transparency that's needed. And together, my friends, we can break down the walls of this crazy, absurd, elite secrecy. In other words, we can be advocates for the truth. And it's so vital. You know, I always say, everybody, the Real Secret Space Program, the RSSP, it gives us a great stage to understand, you know, the cycle of disrespect that the governments, the leadership has shown the public. And it really gives us a great stage to understand what we can do, how we can facilitate a profound, positive change in our world and to evolve our thinking, to coalesce our ideas and thinking, to ultimately manifest, you know, a beautiful reality for ourselves on this precious planet. Because when you look at the Real Secret Space Program, everyone, right? It involves so much secrecy, this outrageous cover-up for 60 plus years. We're talking about a revolutionary non-plutonium physics, free energy, everybody, absolutely. It's an alternative clean energy, and literally the covert military civilizations have harnessed it as a technological reality. They absolutely have. And you guys know I focus a lot on Lockheed Martin. And guess who we're going to talk about today, my friends? It's Lockheed Martin. I'm going to get into it, and we're going to talk about, I believe, a CIA stooge that they put out there largely to distract the public, everybody. And we're going to talk about a story that he mentioned. And I actually believe, remember, my friends, when the CIA, you know, tell you information or they put out stooges, a lot of times it's disinformation, right? They'll tell you some truth and they'll mix it in with lies. Well, ironically, the guy I'm about to tell you and the story, I believe his story, because he couldn't have just pulled this out of his ass. Excuse my language. And who's the guy I'm referring to? Well, you guys know I've talked about him before, my present subscribers. It's Stephen Greer. Look at him, Mr. Alien Boy. You know, he gets a lot of names, right? People call him Alien Boy, he looks like an alien, and people call him a liar and a charlatan. Well, he is a liar in my opinion, a charlatan in a lot of ways, and he sold his soul in my opinion, no doubt about it. But you got to look deeper. You don't look like an alien, Stephen. I'm just kidding. But my friends, you got to ask, who's he working for? The guy is a CIA stooge all the way around, I believe, my friends. Look at him. Stand in front of Washington, D.C. If this guy doesn't look like a CIA stooge as well, I don't know what does, my friends. And what's he involved in, remember? Well, it's serious disclosure, right? Hold on, my friends, I'm going to show you, right? 1.6 billion views approximately. Even Stephen bragged about it, that they've had on serious disclosure, you know, selling CDs, books, DVDs. I did a series on Stephen Greer, but we got to talk about this guy more, my friends. We're going to talk about him today as well, because I believe this is just a CIA marketing merchandise scheme. Just look at it, my friends, right? Because what is the premise? Greer tells you, Stephen Greer tells you, he spins it for ET. He claims that we've got all these intelligent civilizations coming here, and yet he admits that some are man-made UFOs. Here's the black triangles. The guy never gets into the black triangles, by the way. He never names them TR3B. This is the TR3B Estrada, my friends, out of the Aurora Space Program, and I'm only one of two researchers that has connected it to Lockheed Martin, my friends. Absolutely. They are the prime contractors, and we're going to do future videos on Lockheed, or on the TR3B, okay? And of course, here's the F-35. I did a whole series on it. You guys can check it out. This is the largest social moral injustice going on, my friends. I'm telling you, it's an absolute outrageous scam on the taxpayers. They got 9 foreign nations involved, and my beautiful people in Canada. It's just ridiculous. Oh, I call it the $1 trillion turkey plane because they spent over $1 trillion on this thing, man. But anyways, I digress. Back to Stephen Greer and this serious disclosure, my friends. It's not serious. The reason why one of the reasons why we can know it's a CIA marketing merchandise scheme largely, my friends, is because, again, they spin it for ET. The governments, the leadership, the covert military civilizations out there, meaning the deep black program contractors, they will not be honest and explain away this cover-up, my friends. And that means the United States government leadership, right? That's why they always spin it for ET. It's just outrageous. And Stephen Greer is the front man for it, and that's what he does, my friends. I describe he's involved in a diplomatic strategic psyop. No doubt about it. Whoa, we got some wind here, my friends, forgive me. Anyway, he's involved in a diplomatic strategic psyop, right? And I told you guys before, you know, a psyop, it involves taking selected information or indicators to an audience to affect ultimately people's objective reasoning. You know, it can affect your value systems, your belief systems, and it can affect obviously governments, organizations, or groups and individuals. Well, we know Stephen Greer, he's telling the world, my friends, trying to convince you guys and me that we've got all these intelligent civilizations coming here and we need disclosure on the you know, he does a good job talking about the free energy, my friends, and about the corporate intelligence community. But guess what? The CIA, there's layers upon layers of CIA and the intelligence agencies, right? I'm convinced, my friends, remember, part of a PSYOP is, if you're involved in a strategic diplomatic PSYOP, that's how I describe it, you can collect information for the government, but you're not operating inside the military. In other words, he's operating outside the military arena, and he's trying to collect as much information as he can on the corporate intelligence community. He basically tells you, my friends, and he basically tells you he's CIA because his whole story is, oh, well, the Air Force hired me. Remember, his whole story was, what, 15 years ago or so? He gets hired by the, hold on, my friends. It's the wind. I got to put my pictures away. Anyway, so I'm having fun with you guys today. Stick with me, my friends. I think the story that I'm about to tell you is so important and so interesting. I hope you guys will find. And it's from none other than Stephen Greer himself. We'll get to in a moment. But remember, my friends, this is important to know. Greer's history here. He tells you, what, 15 years ago or so, he's doing the EC5 initiatives, which he still does, by the way, and he brags that he's getting government officials in all these other countries. And so they go on a beach, just like he did 15 years ago. He gets groups of people, probably charges them money too. It's so ridiculous. And literally, here's the story, my friends. We're supposed to believe that he's able to point lasers in the sky and they're able to vector ET craft in. Can you believe it? ET craft, legitimate other intelligent civilizations here. I mean, the guy is just a total fraud all the way around. He's a CIA asset, I believe, my friends. I truly believe that. You know, I always say, let our astronomers and cosmologists, let them do their work. People with noble intentions, let them do their jobs to search for extraterrestrial life out there. But you never need an ET explanation, everybody, when you're talking about the trillions of dollars of hardware flying around in our skies. All right? And remember, when you talk about guys like Stephen Greer and these other CIA stooges they put out, like Luis Elizondo, Bob Lazar, right? And you got Tom DeLonge, the burned out rock star from Blink-182. I talked about all these guys, my friends. They put them out there to try to distract the public, okay? And so remember, it is the mandate of the CIA, the NRO, the NSA, the deep black program contractors, some of them, it is the mandate of them to lie, deny, and deceive at the expense of American taxpayers. That's right. And so it affects millions of people worldwide, because when you're talking the United States, you know, it often means internationally, right? And that affects my beautiful people in my powerful, glorious country of Canada, okay? And you know, by the way, my friends, I love talking about the RSSP, the real secret space program. The reason I put these videos out, I believe it gives us a great stage, you know, to understand the cycle of disrespect, right? That the government and the leadership show the public, and what we can do, how we can facilitate a positive transformative change in our society, my friends, to help break down the walls of this crazy, absurd elite secrecy, in other words. And so ultimately, it's all about how do we coalesce our ideas and thinking, you know, to manifest a true beauty for ourselves on this precious planet, right? And how do we grow a culture and society to sustain ethical leadership? Because guys like Stephen Greer, my friends, and the serious disclosure and the U.S. leadership and government, largely, we don't have ethical leadership, right? Not even with Donald Trump. I mean, come on. It's just, he's ridiculous, in my opinion. And a lot of people agree. So seriously, my friends, we have not had real ethical leadership, I would say, since John F. Kennedy. I think a lot of you guys would agree with me, right? Absolutely. He was a believer and fighter for freedom. So back to Stephen Greer here, my friends, and these guys. Stephen Greer, though, he told an interesting story, and I believe it to be true, my friends. He couldn't have just made this up. I mean, and he was even reluctant to, it was one of the few times, you know, he loves to spout off so many outrageous, ridiculous proclamations and pronouncements. It's just unbelievable, right? And this guy's getting paid. Again, he's a CIA asset. He tells you basically as much, my friends. Hired by the Air Force, doing the EC5 initiatives. Oh, and we got these, again, intelligent civilizations coming here. Give me a break. Anyway, so, but here's the thing, my friends. He told an interesting story that I believe to be true. He was reluctant to tell it. Like I said, he loves to spout off all kinds of stuff. But this story, but he ended up telling it anyways. He said, I don't know if I should say this story. And the audience giggled, but he continued and talked about it. He said he got a private email to him and his wife once, and it was at an international airport. Now, I apologize, my friends, I forget the name of the airport, but with this story, I don't think it's important to know the airport. So he went to, ultimately, they went to a condo near the airport, okay? And they sat down with a senior executive, a consigliere under George W. Bush back in the day. So he was an advisor, basically, with George W. Bush, and he was in the know, in other words, very high up, right? Basically almost like a senator in a way, right? And he sat down also, there were two people. The other guy was a senior executive for SAIC. That stands for Science Application International Corporation. Now, I mentioned them in my last video, everybody, or the second to last video, when I talked about, I did a video titled Deep State, Shadow Government, Corruption, all that good stuff, okay? And I talked about SAIC briefly. They're doing a lot of clandestine activities. It's an example of a corporation that I believe has consolidated way too much power, and not many people know about it. SAIC, my friends, they're hiding a lot of the black budget technology, all right? Again, Science Application International Corporation. So what they told Stephen Greer, they said, first they said to Greer, they said, do you have any idea where the money comes from? And Greer says, well, I think so. And they said, there's an 8,000 man army that, and they've killed 2,000 of which, by the way, 2,000 for people for minor infractions. And Greer gave an example where they throw them out a helicopter, etc., right? And they said this 8,000 man army is in charge. Get this, my friends, this is so vital. We're going to connect it to a defense contractor in a moment that I believe is doing this. They said that they are in charge of delivering hundreds of billions of dollars of contraband cash that can't be tracked and arms around the world. Absolutely. And so who would that be? I was thinking about that hard for a long time, and I figured it out, my friends. Because, oh, the other sentence, and this helps me to connect it to the defense contractor I'm about to say, to name it. They said they release AEG craft at nighttime, you know, to deliver the cash and the arms around the world. Well, if you study the military-industrial complex, and if you were to study the real secret space program, what's going on like I do, my friends, okay, and trying to penetrate this black budget technology, which I'm trying to do for us, my friends, AEG stands for Anti-Gravity Electromagnetic Gravitics. Stephen Greer knows this as well. Remember, my friends, he's a CIA asset trying to collect information on the corporate intelligence community, I believe, on the covert military civilizations out there for the regular government, okay? So it stands for Anti-Gravity Electromagnetic Gravitics. Well, who would be in charge of that type of military UFOs, my friends? It's Lockheed Martin. The black triangles right here, the TR-3B Estrada, my friends, that comes out of the Aurora space program, and Lockheed Martin are the prime contractors, no doubt about it. So I think they are in charge of delivering hundreds of billions of dollars of cash and arms around the world, not legally, but illegally, my friends. Now, we know defense contractors, deliver arms around the world. That's part of their job description, unfortunately. But they're doing it illegally, my friends, to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars. And Stephen Greer, he even told you, my friends. So I think it's an important story to keep in mind and digest, my friends. And we can know the defense contractor is most likely Lockheed Martin, okay? And the other reason is, my friends, even my buddy Michael Schratt, the great aircraft aerospace historian, he'll tell you, I mean, Lockheed Martin, they have such a monopoly on a lot of these projects. Absolutely they do, everybody, because did you guys know, I've said this in another video before, 85% of what Lockheed Martin does is classified. Absolutely. And, if you go to Plant 42 in Lancaster, Palmdale, we'll do more videos on this, but if you drive around Plant 42, that's in Lancaster, Palmdale, in Hope Phase Valley area, okay? That's where you go from southern San Diego up to Los Angeles, head up the 14 to Hope Phase Valley area. If you drive around Plant 42, you're going to see a lot of defense contractors, all the big ones out there, my friends. You got Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Raytheon, and more. Well, guess what? At Plant 42, in Building 601, that's where you got a significant amount of medium to highly classified vehicles being assembled, my friends. Okay? And that's Lockheed Martin for you. Building 601. That's where all the magic happens. How do I know this, my friends? Well, maybe, just maybe, I have an informant at Lockheed Martin. You never know. Okay? Got to keep the classified world on their toes. I just might. So, but this is true, my friends. If you want to see where your taxpayers' dollars are going, drive around Plant 42. And maybe I even brought up the land plot survey at the library over there. You never know. But you can know that, everybody. All right? And it's so important to know. So Lockheed Martin, my friends, and the other reason why we can connect it to Lockheed Martin, that they very well may be doing this unconstitutional and illegal activity, and insidious acts, by the way. I mean, this is like a monumental crime. If you're delivering hundreds of billions of dollars of contraband cash and arms around the world illegally, I mean, think about that. Other researchers will tell you too, my friends, who created the Taliban and ISIS, right? Who's creating all these ethnic wars largely around the world? A lot of the times. It's the American CIA, right? We know this, okay? And it goes back to the military-industrial complex because they always want conflict. Now, I respect a lot of people in the military, my friends. Even though I'm hard on Lockheed Martin, I always give them credit where credit's due. They got a lot of the brilliant engineers and scientists. There's a lot of great soldiers out there. That's why I'm wearing the helmet, my friends, okay? And you never know, I may have some inside Army experience. Actually, I have, but that's another story for another day, everybody. So I got a lot of respect, and I train military to get, fit physically and mentally. I've trained a lot of military folks, men and women. So I got a lot of respect, and a lot of them are great people, and they'll even tell you, a lot of them, they know there's way too much secrecy, okay? Even though they're not read into these programs, they're not on the black projects. It's a very select group of people that, even though there's a lot of them that work on these projects, but I digress again. So back to Lockheed Martin, my friends, they have a huge monopoly on a lot of these projects, and they're controlling all the data in the US federal government. That's another reason, if that story's true, you could connect it to Lockheed Martin. And I believe it is true, my friends, because even the great Catherine Austin Fitts, and I've said this in other videos before, everybody, when she worked for, remember, she was the secretary for the federal housing urban development in Washington back in the day, okay? She was a bigwig in Washington. And for 15 years, she's trying to bring transparency to the black budget, okay? We're gonna do whole videos on the missing trillions again. But anyway, she tells you that her times in Washington, anytime she went to get data from HUD or DOD or whatever it was always blocked by Lockheed Martin. Dark journalists will tell you this as well, because she's interviewed Catherine Austin Fitts. And anytime she went to get the contracting paperwork that came out of HUD, it was, again, controlled and blocked by Lockheed Martin. So you got to, and as well as many other agencies in the federal government, okay? So you got a military contractor controlling all the data, basically, in the US federal government. That's a serious, serious problem, right, everyone? It sure is. And again, this is why we need to get a fundamental understanding of these covert military civilizations and a lot of their activities, because they are out of the control, right? And they've caused a lot of sadness and depression, heartache on people around the world. And what do you think Lockheed Martin is doing largely, my friends? Even with the F-35 fiasco, this is an absolute social, moral injustice. You guys could check out my series on the F-35. I think overall I did a very good job. We may do some more videos on it. At least I hope you guys agree, okay? So again, my friends, I thought that was an interesting story from none other than a CIA asset, I believe, working for the so-called regular government, again, operating outside the military arena, and that's Stephen Greer, for serious disclosure, okay? And don't buy in his lies when he spins it for ET, my friends. That, again, just shows how, unfortunately, the U.S. government leadership largely, they just will not be courageous with this cover-up, right? They're having great difficulty explaining away the cover-up of stealing exorbitant amount of resources, gold, silver, etc., and stealing trillions and trillions of dollars from U.S. taxpayers and people around the world, my friends. They decipher money out of communities, towns, and cities every which way. And they do it year after year, decade after decade. All right? And even Catherine tells you, my friends, remember, I've said this on other videos. Again, we're going to do an epic video, I hope, on the missing trillions. I hope you guys will enjoy it. But you've got $21 trillion, for example, missing since 1998. That's a hard figure. Catherine got the help from Professor Skidmore and 15 of his brightest accountants going through the documents in the federal government. And now she's estimated, with the bailouts from the banks, get this, everybody, you've got over $50 trillion or so in assets shifted out of North America. And that doesn't even include what may have been shifted in the developed world in Europe, right? Absolutely. I mean, it's so much money, it's hard to even contemplate, right? I mean, it's just unreal. And where do you think a lot of the money's going, everybody? It's the black budget technology, the military UFO flying programs, a lot of it, and the off-planet investment, therefore, my friends, on the moon and Mars. Absolutely no question about it. The real secret space program, a lot of this money's going, my friends. It is the lion's share of the economy. The whole U.S. economy, really since 1947, but particularly the last several decades, the whole economy, we see it. It is being organized and run to contingent on maintaining the secrecy and to keep the funding going. And Stephen Greer knows it. I mean, even Greer admits to you guys, everybody, he tells you basically in so many words that the government has lost all control of the military technology, and they absolutely have. I've always said this. And so he knows that the covert military civilizations are, you know, handling all this, and but he never gets into the defense contractors. You notice that? You know, he never talks anything about the real secret space program. He never really names the important issues, again, to do with the real secret space program. He'll never name any of the big defense contractors and what they're up to. I mean, the guy's a joke, my friends. You know, an absolute, again, CIA asset. But that story, I hope you guys find interesting, because I sure did. And I connected it to that defense contractor. I believe it's Lockheed Martin doing it, my friends. Okay? But again, I do give credit to Lockheed Martin in terms of they've got the best engineers and scientists. They've made a lot of breakthroughs, but they have lied to us for years and years and decades, my friends, okay? Just like the leadership in the government. We're talking 60 plus years with the cover-up, my friends. They were doing this gravity research all the way back in the 1950s when they made the breakthroughs. No question about it. I showed you guys in one of my videos, talking and showing you two primary sources of newspaper articles showing you the amazing gravity research, okay, my friends, and the breakthroughs. And we'll do it again in future videos, okay? And we're going to talk about, I'm coming back here, my friends. We're going to talk about the TR-3B, again, the black triangles. We got the infamous black triangles that have been proliferating the last several decades. Millions of people have seen them worldwide. Comes out of the Aurora space program. Lockheed Martin, you can rest assured, are the prime contractors. And it's amazing technology. I give them credit there. But just tell us the truth. I mean, again, the dysfunction, the waste, right, is just off the charts. Just tell us the truth. Even Catherine takes the Winston Churchill approach and says, tell the people, tell the people. I mean, come on. And just another example before we go, my friends. Again, it's Lockheed Martin here, folks. Again, this is something you won't see or hear from Stephen Greer, the CIA asset, because he knows he can't go there, right? But I'll show you guys, because I have noble intentions, unlike Stephen Greer, to penetrate this black budget technology for us, my friends. He spouts off a lot of nonsense. He claims that, you know, he wants everybody to have this free energy. Well, he should be talking about the real issues then, right? And not sending disinformation lies about ET, right? Like I said. Well, here, look at this black and white photo of the TR-3B on a submarine. I showed this on the last video, guys, showing you the Navy's in charge of the real secret space program. And Lockheed Martin are hiding their TR-3B at times underneath the ocean floors, underneath the oceans. Absolutely. We know we have under ocean facilities worldwide. And that's never talked about in corporate media, by the way. And again, a lot of the trillions of dollars are going towards the industrial manufacturing underneath our oceans and underground. I know, it's just astonishing technology, everybody. Again, you're not relying on air for lift. It's a revolutionary non-plutonium physics. And again, they were developing military UFOs and UFO flying programs by the 1950s. Absolutely no question about it. And since, I would say, since the 1960s, they really created radical, gnarly UFO technology, okay? Like the black triangles. They've been in operation, I would say, at least since the late 1960s and 1970s. And we'll get into it again in future videos. Thank you guys so much for being gracious with your times again. I really appreciate it, everybody. And I hope people new to my channel, I hope you guys will subscribe. I hope you'll digest. It's a lot of information, but I think it's vital for a society. And the real secret space program, it is the most important and I think fascinating subject in our times today, my friends, for a lot of reasons that I stated today. Okay? Take care. More great videos to come, I hope, my friends. Have a great day, everybody. And subscribe, share my videos, give me the thumbs up, find that bell icon so you can be alerted future videos. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.